My dad was so concerned about the world rejecting me that he tried to protect me. Their free DVD ad is their greatest lead generator. We think that's going to be the solution to every single problem, so we become. Welcome to Mastery Live. I want to start off with a short little video that I've shown in a couple past intensives that just starts the right theme and right. In that short clip, there's so many things that I don't know about you, but hit me at a really cellular level, like a visceral, almost brings tears to the eyes, because it hits like so many of the questions we have and the dream-stealing society that we are also in. If you look at the first statement, you have to keep this side of yourself a secret. Right? You have to keep the side of yourself a secret. So many of us came here with something that either A, we really don't know why we're in the room, which is okay for some of you. B, you believe at some level there's something that you were meant to do or create, and you have to get it out in the world, and magically there's these tools that we have that can help you, right? But that's why you're here at some level, fair? And everyone around you at some level or through our whole life has said, you got to keep some of these great parts about you, these things that are your superpowers or your things that are unique to this world, a secret. Because, as he says there, my dad was so concerned about the world rejecting me that he tried to protect me, right? And so where I want to segue a little bit is, yeah, it says, if the world found out who I really was, they might reject you, right? And I want to segue early in this event to get to some of the heart of what I'm about and what my goals are for you. There's this, and how we can go wrong, but we're going to stay on the right track, right? The way we're going to stay right is that we understand really why we're here and what we're trying to accomplish. At a lot of events where we take tactics and strategies and shiny objects and they get dangled out in front of you, and we think that's going to be the solution to every single problem, so we become shiny object chasers or next hack builders rather than making sure the foundation is completely solid and strong. And so I want to tell you a quick little story. And this is the family I grew up in. That was my mom and dad right here. And I'm one of 13 kids, grew up in a family. I think we have 60-something nieces and nephews. My wife and I have 7 kids, and she's amazing. Our crew's amazing. Even little Eddie, who doesn't want to be seen on camera, is pretty darn amazing. But one of the questions I want to ask early in this event, because this kind of sets a tone, don't you think? But knowing why we're doing things is 20 times more important than what we're doing, because I'll figure out the what, I'll figure out the how, but I got to know why I'm doing it. So a quick little story is, this was a picture taken about 48 hours in. I think I'm right there on the end. This is me here on the end of our it was a mini Hell Week experience that I went through that Mark Devine puts on called Kokoro Camp. It's a 52-hour event. You start at 8 a.m. on Friday, you end around noon on Sunday, you don't sleep, and you're pretty much going through evolutions every 3 to 4 hours with a small break to eat, and then you're back at it. They treat you they try and replicate very similarly to what goes through the Hell Week experience. Now, this is probably one of my favorite pictures of the whole thing, because this is when the sun, it was the most beautiful experience ever. I'll tell you what happened. We were locked arm in arm, butts on the sand, and I never realized that the Pacific Ocean, how rocky it actually is in the sand. Like when you get your body scraped along the sand, it sucks. It's really not fun. And we had been doing this on and off for this is about 8 p.m. Now it's probably about 5:30 in the morning. And we'd been doing that on and off all night long. And it was one of the coolest things. I was on the far end on the left, holding hands with, we kept switching around, but locked in arms. And it was what made it so special was that the whole night you see the moon like coming up and then going down, which meant sunset was coming up soon. And then the other thing that was really cool was seeing, it was pitch dark right before this, and then seeing surfers showing up, and they'd be running along the sand, because that meant they're not going to show up at 3 a.m. That meant we were close, because we had no time orientation at that point. So it was coming, and then I remember after getting crashed a few times, looking down to my right, and the last person in the row was pink. And in a couple minutes, our whole line was pink, and that meant we made it to sunset. And really what that meant was no one's going to quit from this point on. In fact, the statistics show that 80-some% of the people who quit Hell Week quit within the first 24 hours. And I think the rest, once people get past, I think it's 2 days, the quit ratio is almost like it's under 10%. It's very low. It's usually because of injury or other reasons. So this is near the finale part. When I signed up for it, this is me prepping. I had to do 1,000 burpees. I mentally created a checklist in my head of what do I have to do to know that I'm mentally prepared to do this. And so one of the activities I put up was 1,000 burpees in the sand, jumping in the water, coming out of it. It took about 3 hours and 45 minutes. And the reason why you do something as stupid as that is you have to figure out like where your voice in your head decides to go when things are really bad and you're all alone. I want to know that, right? And this was another part where you're going, if you ever want to do bear crawls downhill, we got to do that. That's me right there. And what you're supposed to do is crawl down and then go into a plank. And then once you're in the plank, you're just supposed to stay in the plank in the water. For some reason, I stood up. I don't know why I stood up. And so they made me go all the way back to the top. And that was not a good move. And you just got to smile along the way. So these are things that I could talk about for years, right? But I want to tell you a quick story on this that brings it all full circle. I had 3 goals going into it. And I'll tell you what they were. Be positive, be relentlessly positive, no matter what the circumstance was. Like I really wanted to see, I had played college sports, I felt like I was a good leader, I thought I was a positive person, and I read Mark Divine's book, and he said the one thing that he thought about when he went through Hell Week was, how do you make this fun, how do you be positive all the time? And I was like, all right, cool. Let's see if we can truly do this in matters of moments. Number 2 was, I wanted to be an impeccable leader. What that meant was, I don't know, I wanted to be positive, great communications, treat everybody, be very encouraging to everybody, be a good leader. And then the 3rd one was, one trick that I figured out, and this is a really good trick in life, is that put out my 120% all the time. Because I figured something out, and it was validated really quickly, that the cadre who's going to punish you, they're going to punish you eventually. And I tell my kids this, right? I'm like, hey, you're going to have coaches that just lose their stuff, and they're going to punish the whole team because one kid did something. It's going to happen. When that happens, your only job is to be in the top 3 all the time and always put out. I don't care how tired you are, you can do anything for 7 seconds, you can do anything for 14 seconds, it doesn't matter, right? And so the reason is because there's always a bottom third who's going to try and not put out, they're going to look for coaches, they're going to put their knees down, they're going to do everything to get out of the punishment, and the attention will go to them. Just don't be that guy. So I figured that stuff out. Everything was going phenomenal. We're 24 hours in, 25 hours in. I learned 2 things, right? They'd say, hey, you either lead from the front or you push from the back, right? And so when we're running, we had to run like 1.5 miles to the pool, went through this 1.5 hour evolution in the pool, and now we're running back. And I was in the back with one of the guys that kept stumbling and kept falling and was just, he would eventually quit. But we were trying to push him to meet a certain timeline. And all of a sudden, the craziest thing happened. My legs were moving, like I was all of a sudden having a hard time keeping up with the guy in the back. And all of a sudden, I'm on the side of the road puking. And I'm like, I'm fine, okay, cool, I run, boom. Another few minutes later, I'm puking again, and again, it just wouldn't stop. And so what happened was, a couple of the interns, when they were filling up the water buckets, they filled up a couple of the buckets with actually the lake water, which was pretty infested with bacteria or whatever. So there was like a handful of us got really sick. Now, I went down, they gave us food, they were like, hey, you have to eat. So I shoveled it in, puked it all out, and all of a sudden, my world got disoriented. Like I was starting to all of a sudden these voices came inside my head as we're about to start the next evolution. And all of a sudden these voices were, hey, all you need right now is to lay down and sleep. That's all you need. If you could just lay down for 2 hours, you'll be fine. You'll be able to finish this. Which it's not, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah, really, they'd be like, are you quitting then? Is that what you're saying? You're quitting? We have good coffee. We can give you an IV right now. You just can go take you nice to a warm bed. They say stuff like that to you. And then another voice came in my head. And was like, what if this sickness doesn't stop? You got 24 more hours left. What if your body just doesn't stop puking and crapping and all this stuff, right? And then it just kept going. So you guys see how quickly it just shifted? Like literally 30 minutes ago, I was feeling on top of the world. I was doing exactly what I said. I was going to be positive no matter what. I was going to lead no matter what. My teammates were amazing. The communication was getting better. Everything was going good. And then in a blink of an eye, boom, I am like this wobbly, really I had all these doubts in my head. And only thing that stopped the thoughts was that the day before I left, so I didn't tell you this, I did this because it scared the living crap out of me. And I wanted to put something in motion at a soul level for my kids and my family and generations beyond me. This stuff was not, I just want to see if I got what it takes. No, it was like, I want to see at a cellular, deep level, do I have what it takes, and can I set a precedent that just moves and it affects all my children, everyone around me, for the rest of my life and generations. So that might be a little psychotic, but bear with me, some of you got that gene. And all I could remember was the letter my daughter sent or gave me the day before I left that said, Dad, you told us that you could always make the impossible possible and you could do anything that you want in life. I know you're going to do great, blah, blah, blah. And that was the little glimmer of, that's all I needed, the crack of the light to pop me out of it and be like, all right, this is going to suck. And if I have to crap my way and puke my way to the end, we can handle it, okay? There's a couple more other things that happened there too, I swear. I immediately went to my teammates and I said, look, I need your help right now. And they were like, all right, Ed, you are now going to sit with the injured person for the next 30 minutes, and we're going to take over. And so for the next 3 hours, my team literally just let me be almost non-effective, and they did all the work. Big lesson for us alpha, men and women who are leaders, you need people to rely on, right? And so I had to trust that. And then right around 4 o'clock, guess what happened? Boom, evolution ended. My body came back. It was the most spiritual experience I ever had in my life, most energizing experience I ever had in my life, and everything moved forward. It was amazing. I was able to finish. It was all positive. So people want to talk about the sun setting, but they forget to tell you about what storms come your way. And so one thing I just want to start early on is, why are we doing this? And you got a piece of paper there, and I just want you to go through this. It's going to be a 90-second exercise. It's not going to be long. We're not going to take forever. You're just going to write out, what is the 1 to 3 top reasons why I'm here? Number 2 is, where am I making progress and momentum? Number 3 is, what am I most excited about that I'm working on now? And number 4 is, what is one positive outcome that can have exponential results from this event? So what is one to three top reasons why I'm here? We gotta learn how to generate traffic. Why do we need that? To generate customers profitably. If we generate profitable customers, what does that allow us to do? If we can do that, what else can we do? We can impact more people. We can donate more money. We can support, especially for some of you that have some phenomenal products. We got guys in the room, we have hospitals, we have people that are helping people with intermittent fasting. We have people in the room getting, what's up guys, you missed the best story of the day, but it's okay, I understand, Costa Rican time. Great stuff. It's always nice unleashing a bunch of people who usually work by themselves behind a computer and be like, here's other people. You have things to talk about. Go and see what happens. It's amazing. It's amazing. 7 and 8 figure blind spots. I'm not going to go through that right now because I think we're going to have a full couple days here. I wanted to wrap up the first morning session with something that I love showing. I want to have lifelong impact on your thought process. Number one, before I do that though, I want to ask this question. Who has found value out of the first session so far, right? Do you see something that you either can add to your business, a model you can follow, or ways you can start accelerating the ideas or the part of your business right now? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, all right, cool. So that was the goal, is to lay a foundation. The next day and a half is going to be a lot of traffic stuff about how to use the different things. So that's the funnel structure. So there's no way, I just want to I'm hitting something that has happened in the past, so I'm trying to do better, is that people will come up to me and be like, I don't even know where to start. I'm trying to figure out how to just get my sales process, my website. And I will stop you and say, pick one of those models that you relate to best and start there. That's it. And then over the rest of the next day and a half, add one channel to your repertoire that you want to double down on for the next 90 days. That is the best way to approach the next 2 days, okay? Now, remember I talked about if you only model, you will only hit the ceiling of the biggest problems they're facing. So I want to show you like a 3-minute clip of a video that, in my opinion, has shifted my thinking 1,000%, that all of us can benefit greatly from, and it's of The Rock. If you've seen this, just watch it again. I'll tell you when to click it, Tyler. Oh, who knows who Dwayne Johnson is? The Rock? Yeah, okay, I just gotta make sure people are alive. He's speaking to the Los Angeles Lakers. This is near the end of his talk. He's already talked about how he tried to make it the pros, he got cut. Then he went into, it's not WWF, but it's what? WWE, okay, cool. And he was like at the top of his game. So he's gonna start off sharing, I was at the top of my game. I was the highest paid, biggest celebrity villains in WWE, and he decided to leave, okay? Now, I gotta share a personal story with you. I don't think the hardest time in my life was between 23 and 27 when I was broke for those 4 or 5 years, struggling. I think the hardest part of my life is like now when I have 7 kids, a wife, and I'm trying to provide, I'm trying to lead a room, and adversity starts hitting me now. Like the chaos when you're already successful sometimes is way more difficult to mentally manage than when you were broke and had nothing. Because now you have society obligations, meaning people expect you to do this, and you're like, maybe I just don't like my business. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm gonna go start something that has meaning, has value. Like that shift, when people are on, you're like, wait a second, that's what pays all our bills and makes our money and does our things, and you're just gonna walk away from it? Yeah, I don't really wanna do this anymore. Which is what I did when I left Dennis Profits, which was my coaching club, successful coaching business. But I was like, I don't want to talk to Dennis about the 5 ways to grow a dental practice till I'm 95. There's only five ways to grow a dental practice. How many seminars can I run and masquerade around get referrals, do new patient welcome kits? It's like another Gene Simmons one. That's gonna save your wealth. I actually had a guy come up to me, he's like, you work with Dennis, don't you? And I was like, yeah, he goes, I had the best wealth advice ever. It's amazing. I'm like, all right, what is it? He goes, tell them don't sleep with their assistants.
He's like, more marriages get screwed up because of that. These dentists are broke. After 3 practices, they're worth nothing.
All right.
I swear this. Okay.
All right, go ahead, press play.
Look, at the end of the day, like again, it's the kind of stuff that I talked about at top is I have to hold on to my dad in his pickup truck came down 4 o'clock in the morning, picked me up in Miami from Tampa. We lived in a little shitty apartment in Tampa. He drove down in his little pickup truck to Miami to get me when I was cut from the CFL. I was driving up I-75. I don't know if you guys are from Florida, any of you guys, if you know, it's I-75 is especially down in Florida, Alligator Alley. I'll never forget it. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, fuck. I leave home like you guys left home. I'm ready to tackle the world, to get after it, achieve my dreams and goals. Fucking crushed by 22, 23 years old. Now I got to move back in with my mom and dad. I played on great teams, though. Wait a second. This is not supposed to be my future. I'm supposed to be in the NFL right now. I'm supposed to be making a lot of coin and buying my parents shit, buying me shit, taking care of my wife, but it never happened. So I pulled out my wallet. I thought, let me see how much money I have. I opened it up. I had a 5, a 1, and change. I'm not fucking around, and at least I rounded up to $7. But I thought, God, ain't this a bitch? I got $7 in my pocket. Where the fuck do I go now? What do I do? I can't go back to CFL because the point comes where you hear that voice, big run's over. Like, you're done. So I heard that voice. So as Coach was saying, man, I hold on to that shit. I'm telling you, my back is up against this motherfucker. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time. Press is always fun to do. Sometimes you got to make it fun. That's another thing. You got to do your best to make press fun if you can. But my back is still up against this motherfucker. I do not forget it. So Coach was saying, like, you're going to go through challenging times as a team. You guys are on the come up. You're on the rise. What this also helps me do, and again, it works for me, is at some point, you gotta be fucking tired of not being number one. You have to be, and you gotta fucking play angry, and I play angry. Now, I'm cool and calm with my approach, and when I step out on my field, which is a set, or there's some, and you're always gonna have haters, and haters are like, God damn, man, how many movies are you gonna make, or how much shit are you gonna do? Like, you do a lot of shit. I say, yes, because my ambition, of course, why not? I could do it. Yeah, I love what I do. And not only that, but in what world do we not work every day?
I love this.
Doesn't mean it's just like you guys in the off season. You got to work every fucking day. It doesn't end. My back is up against this thing. And I started to play angry, by the way. And I still play angry. My last match, Brock Lesnar, transitioned, and I realized if I had to be great at something, I wanted to be great in this world of Hollywood and movie making and producing and entertainment, I had to commit. And you guys have to commit. Obviously, you commit to something, commit to the goal. So I quietly retired. 2 years later, I thought, what the fuck did I do with my career? Because my movies were not doing well. I was written off. I was like, it was around 2006, 2007. I was like, God damn. I left, I pulled a Jim Brown. I left when I was on top, like number one in the wrestling business, and I left. It was a ballsy, gutsy, some call it stupid move, but I had to commit and I had to follow what was in my gut. And at that time, I'll share this with you guys, and Will Smith is my boy, and I sat down at that time with the agency I was with, and they said, what do you want to accomplish? I said, I want to accomplish the world. I want the world, and I want Will Smith's career, and I said this respectfully because I know he's here at this agency with us, I want to do it bigger and better. And they looked at me like I had 3 fucking heads, and they were like, okay. But I still stayed focused, and I still had these, still put in the hard work with my 2 hands, and that's it, and that's what it comes down to.
So think about that. Pretty cool stuff, right? How many of you have switched businesses or stuff where you're like, what did I do or what am I doing? There's a gap, right? And then, hey, Tyler, can you just throw the cover sheet up? Because I'm done using the slides for now. And then how did so he went with greener pastures, better idea, better vision. This is going to be it. I'm going to movies. I'm going to conquer like I did my last thing. So my question, the reason I watch that, I'll tell you exactly why I watch it, just selfishly for me, and I would suggest this little exercise. I watch it because I want to know at a neurological, spiritual, visceral level, what did he renegotiate with himself and the world about what was possible for him to have the guts to walk in and say, all right, look, this isn't working, is really what he said. And while it's not working, we all think about incremental improvements, right? He said, screw it, I want it all. And I want to do it in a massive way. And if you ever follow him, he leads with gratefulness, he leads with value, he's always acknowledging. If you want to study a case study of how to build up a tribe, about how I think his movie was like #4 over the summer, and instead of being out there being like, hey, go see our movie, he like led with, hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to my boys, and he named them, who were in the movie that's #1. He's like, kicked our last weekend, but we're coming. Like, it was very fun and playful. So what I want to challenge you to do is listen to this clip again, but when you hear the words, when he says, hey, look, I want it all. I want whatever that blank is, you fill in your head. Go for lunch, go for a walk, and just indoctrinate and ask for whatever it is you want in this world. If you have no limitations, money, product, funding, knowledge, it's gone. Rip it away and just ask for it and be like, this is what I want. And then the second thing is, ask yourself this question: are the people who are surrounding you willing to support that vision? Because if they're not, they gotta go. Sorry, if you're in the room, you might not have a job at lunch. But that's the thing. We settle. Like, even Tony Robbins, give him total credit. It's like, we don't get what we want. We get what we expect. We get what we demand. And the biggest shift that I've been really working on the last few years is, cool, I bought into this like lifestyle business stuff, and I'm like, I can't make maximum value if I'm trying to not work. And I'm just trying to make enough cash to do what's cool and drive the car. Like, we need to create how do we create maximum value in this world? And that's the primary driver of the question. The Rock, okay, let's bring it full circle. Ed, why are you talking about The Rock? I'm looking at The Rock. I'm looking at how Netflix makes you so addicted to content that you can't not go to the next video. Because that's where the game changers are gonna happen, right? And here's what's cool about all of it, right? Who do you think can, if The Rock was right here and we said, hey, here's your line of products right now, who would have the wealthiest health supplement, nutrition, and fitness business in the world, or in this room, immediately? He would. Because he built celebrityship, he's got the audience, and he's got the respect and credibility, and now you just bolt the products onto it, and boom, it goes. So over the next 2 days, man, if I could gift you guys of anything, and you can gift me of anything, let's just 10x your ask. Let's do more as a community. It's a killing it round, then we're gonna take a break, and then we got Mr. Josh Alazeche before lunch. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Bring it.
Hey, it's Ed O'Keefe, and what you're watching right now is the opening of one of my events. And so this compilation is to show how we open it, how we motivate our audience, how we enroll them, how we engage them. And then there's pieces of content I took out because it contextually doesn't make sense unless you want to learn more about a specific industry. And then you'll see how we run a quick little exercise, and then how we end the first session with lots of motivation. So if you are interested in having me help you with one of your events as a keynote speaker or as an event wingman to help you sell premium priced products, go ahead and you'll see a link in the description to learn more about that. Otherwise, check out the next video, which will go even more in depth on how we sell masterminds, or how we elegantly sell with zero pressure from stage, virtual or in person.